Hello and welcome back to my channel, Crafty Concepts with Erin. If you're new here, welcome. We're going to create a scrapbook layout today featuring close to my heart's Boo Crew Halloween special. You can see this is a very whimsical collection, very fun with vivid colors. Now I have already done 2 layouts here on this channel featuring this paper collection, so I have some scraps. And these, I have a couple whole sheets and then some partial sheets. I do want to scrapbook this cute photo of my son. We had made these spiders for Halloween decorations out of pipe cleaners, googly eyes, and foam balls. So I just wanted to document this fun memory. And I will also be using the Boo Crew stamp and thin cuts. And then there is a October. These are the months of the year. For every single month there is a themed stamp, and I love these. They're super popular and really versatile. So this is the October one, so I'll be using some of the stamped images from this as well. And then I have a scrap pile I'm hoping to tackle today, and then a few stickers left over from the coordinating sticker sheet. So lots of things to work with here for a single page layout. I will go ahead and get this cleaned up and we'll get started. I'm going to bring in my Versamat here for my work surface. So I kind of have an idea in my head here. I have white cardstock, this is the white daisy, and black also, and then this paper. I really want to use the spider paper because it is about these spiders after all. So I thought that is going to be perfect. But I was thinking if we just have this, I'm going to do a torn edge, I think, and have the spiders peeking out. I'm going to start by ripping this towards me because I want that. If it were colored paper, this would leave a white core, but it just gives a little nice texture to the edge here. So I'm tearing a fairly straight line, and then I'm going to do the exact same thing with the black. Now I don't need an entire piece of black cardstock behind here. So when I'm done tearing these edges, I will go ahead and cut both the black and the spider paper down to just the part that's going to be showing. I left myself enough room so I could layer these together and adhere them and have a 12 by 12 sheet. And now I'm going to bring my black ink in, and then I have a foam blending tool. I'm just going to put some black ink around the edge here. I like to do this a lot just to kind of define those edges, but then I thought I wanted a little bit more. So I'm going to bring in my all-purpose mat and actually blend onto the paper to darken these corners to give it kind of that vignette look. I think this looks really cool. Adds a lot of character to the paper. So I'm going to go ahead and do the opposite corner here. Now before I adhere all these together, I want to rough these edges up even more. So I'm just going to kind of roll them and lift them up with my fingernail just to give them even more distressing. So we have that flat straight edge, and now I'm giving it texture by curling it up, and I'll do the same to this paper here. If torn edges aren't your thing, you could definitely have just clean straight lines and do the same type of look here. So I have the opposite side of the spider paper. It's this gingham orange, and then I cut a black photo mat, and I'm going to add that same ink blending around the edge of this orange gingham paper here, just to kind of go along with what we've done on the little spider pattern paper over on the right hand side. So I'm quickly going around. The all-purpose mat is super nice because I can just take a damp cloth and wipe that up right after I'm done, and it's just nice and easy to keep clean. I'm also going to distress the edge of this. So I went ahead and did that off camera with my edge distressor, and now we'll layer these together. I want to bring in even more pattern paper. So they have this fun word paper, and on the opposite side is this black with white stars. And I already had these 2 cut, so I'm just running them from the top and the bottom, and that will look like one continuous piece back behind there. Before I lay those down, I actually remembered ahead of time to add my splatter. Usually it's like an afterthought, but I moved those my paper layers to the side, and now I'm just tapping on my black shimmer brush. If you're not getting big enough splatters, just squeeze a little bit out and get more moisture into that tip of the brush, and then you'll get larger splatters like you see here. That is looking pretty cool. And now I cut this tag from the Buildable Tags thin cut set. I used the largest tag here. One of these days I'll actually put all the layers together for you, but we're going to create a little scene on our tag with the Boo Crew stamp set here. I'm going to scoot that to the side, and I grabbed my black ballerina and nectarine ink. I'm not sure if I'll use the ballerina, but I grabbed it just in case. So I am going to stamp this little ghost here in the black ink, and we'll kind of move him over to the right hand side of the tag just a little bit. Now there's several different options on this stamp set for faces. There's 3 different little expressions to choose from. So we'll give our little ghost a face, and you could add a party hat to him. You could add a bow tie or put the bow in the hair if you wanted to make it a girl ghost. There's little things you can do. There's a couple different wonky stars, and I am going to stamp a few. I want to add this word paper to the bottom, so I'm going to just put that there so I know where to put my stamps. Now I'm using the Nectarine ink, and we'll add a couple stars in the orange color here. Maybe one more right there. I'm going to grab my little ink blending tool, and just with the black ink left over in the foam, I'm going to darken the edges of the tag so it'll stand out against the white cardstock behind it. I'm a big fan of using tags on my scrapbook layouts. They're so versatile. You can use them to add pattern paper, you can use them for journaling, or create little embellishment clusters like I'm doing here. I do want to add more of this wild berry, so I might bring that bat in, but the tag's looking like it doesn't fit in that lower left-hand corner there. So maybe I'm going to move it to the right, and I think that's a better balance. I want to add a little bit more stamping to this layout, so I've die cut a couple of these pumpkins, and I'll stamp the first one here in Nectarine ink. Now, if you wanted to use these pumpkins on like a fall layout, you can just leave them like this, or you can add the faces, which I'm going to do here in a second. My second pumpkin I'm going to stamp in wild berry. Now, this is the color of the year. It's a really fun color, and I'm really enjoying using it for these Halloween layouts I've been doing. So I do want to give them a little face. So let me grab my black ink, and we'll make our orange pumpkin a happy, smiley little pumpkin. That looks pretty cute. And I'm going to use this one. So my ghost and my 2 pumpkins all have different expressions. Let me just lay that down, pick it up with my block, get it good and inky, and there, our pumpkin has a face. I want to add a little bit more presence to this embellishment cluster up top. So from the October month stamp, there's this really fun little corner spider web, and let me swap that out for a smaller block. You can use this just in a corner, or you can keep going, line it up all the way around and create a full circle. So I want a half circle peeking out from my pattern paper here. So we'll give a good press, ink that up again. We're going to give it a quarter turn, line this up, which we can do really easily with our acrylic blocks here, and perfect. Now I can add my pumpkins over the top, and you'll notice I'm layering them behind the different layers of pattern paper there. So I have the Happy Halloween sticker from the coordinating sticker sheet, and I love the banner-like swoopy feel of this sticker. I think it's a lot of fun. I'm going to use this little bat to kind of camouflage the corner where it's adhered on the left-hand side. And now also from the October month stamp is this fun little spider. This is a happy spider. He's got a little smiley face, and his legs remind me of the spiders my son created in the picture. So I'm going to stamp one there, and then another one up a little bit higher so they're on different levels. And then I'll take my journaling pen and just draw webs so they look like they're kind of hanging down from the top of the page. You'll notice I've added just a little bit of that wild berry color to each embellishment cluster, creating that visual triangle. We have it in the word sticker on the tag, the pumpkin, and then the bat. It doesn't take much, but just those pops of that vivid wild berry color really draw your eye around the layout and give it a balanced feel. I grabbed some ribbon from my stash, and I'm finishing off this little tag topper. I did add some craft foam to the back to pop this tag up just a little bit here. I know it's hard to appreciate that on camera, but I want to give it some shadowing and dimension. There's a few more stickers from the coordinating sticker sheet. There is the word boo, and I'll layer that right over the top of my photo, and then this fun little black and white plaid arrow. You know, I'm down to the very last of my stickers, so I want to use them up, and it's fun just to bring in these little details to the layout. To go along with that plaid arrow, I thought we'd give a little bit more presence to this bat over here and use the plaid pumpkin, layer the bat over the top like so, and that just kind of finishes that corner off a little bit nicer, I think. I've printed my journaling out on cardstock and cut those into strips. Definitely take a moment to make sure they are in story order. I have actually adhered my journaling strips out of order, and it's quite funny. I, didn't even notice it until I snapped a picture, sent it to my sister because it was the layout of her daughter, and she's like, hey, did you notice this? And I had to fix that. It was quite funny. My journaling just tells a story how for one of our homeschool craft projects, because it was right before Halloween, my son Hayden wanted to make some spiders. So we gathered up some supplies and, put these little spiders together. And then, of course, he didn't want to put them out on, for decoration. He wanted to play with them and they became toys, which was totally fine. It was a lot of fun and a happy memory. I'm adding a couple wild berry enamel dots to each cluster, and I use both the small and the medium. And I'm going to put 3 up top and 2 here on this little pumpkin, and I put some around our ghost on the tag. If you want to check out the other layouts I created with this Boo Crew collection, I'll leave those in the description box below, along with all the supplies I used on today's layout. Close to My Heart also has a workshop option for this paper pack, and I'll leave that in the description box below as well, so you can check all of that out. I hope you guys were inspired by today's project. If you're not already a subscriber, I would love to have you join the Crafty Concepts with Erin community. You can tune in every Tuesday and Friday for a new crafty video from me. Thanks for watching. Bye.